Good afternoon, class. Today I will be telling you about the expectancy violation theory. My name is Jacob Couvertier. I hope everyone's doing well today and I hope you enjoy my presentation. To begin with, I have presentation contents. I'll begin with talking about the founder of the actual theory. I'll tell you a little bit of background about the theory and get more in depth of the actual theory itself. I will be telling you about proxemic zones and what those are all about. I also have a peer review article that I was able to look at and refer my information back to and relate it to the theory. So I'll be showing you that and some quotes from that article that I found interesting. Then I will be giving you a short video of an example of the theory, and then I'll end with my conclusion. To begin with, we have the founder of the theory. Her name was Judy K. Burgoon. The theory was founded in the late 1970s. It was also continued and taught about in depth through the late 1980s and 90s. It was called the nonverbal expectancy violation theory in the beginning when it first came about. And it shows many positive violations. It shows how positive violations produce more favorable communication between humans, and negative violations produce less favorable communication. A little bit about the theory is that people tend to protect their personal space when they experience some kind of a violation to their space. Behavior is a result of the choices made around us. As an employee, there's a certain type of performance that is based on the individual's factor, such as the abilities, knowledge, and your experience that you have in that certain job as an employee. The purpose of the choices made is to minimize negatives such as pain and suffering, and to maximize positives such as being comfortable around other people. Expectations are based on social norms. As far as proxemic zones go, these are rules of how humans have depicted how space and personal space should be thought about and initiated. Intimate space is 0 to 18 inches. Personal space is 18 inches to 4 feet. Social space is anywhere from 4 to 12 feet, and public space is anywhere from 12 feet and on. My peer review article talks about a response to deviance in online groups and how integrating expectancy violation theory actually helps these online groups. Some of the quotes I have for you today are: norms and expectations are highly related concepts, with expectations often based on those actual norms. Expectancy violations theory notes how individuals respond to ambiguous deviance through assessing the reward value of the deviant deed that was actually done. Another quote is: nonetheless, online deviance is widespread and a topic of media and public concerns. In my opinion, these quotes from the article relate to the theory because they talk about how in various ways how the theory is represented in everyday life, and how even by us not knowing that we're using these violation theories, we still are. So an example of the theory that I have for you today is a video that you'll actually be able to click when watching the presentation. I have 3 examples for you inside the video. One example is seen at 30 seconds. The second example is seen at a minute 12, and the third example is seen at a minute 32. And that will all be portrayed for you as you go through the presentation. As far as the conclusion goes, this theory explains how people tend to protect their personal space when they experience some kind of violation. It was founded in the late 1970s by Judy K. Burgoon, as said before. Expectations are based on social norms. That's just in general. A lot of the expectations that we set for ourselves today are mainly based off social norms that we see in our everyday lives. And again, the four proxemic zones are guidelines for personal space, and those consist of intimate space, personal space, social space, and public space. And each one has a different type of feet that you're supposed to be within, and the exact like social distance that you're supposed to have with those. Again, this theory explains how people tend to protect their personal space when they experience a type of violation. This could be anything as sitting in a restaurant and maybe the tables are too close to each other and the person next to you is getting very annoyed with how you're chewing or maybe how you're breathing too heavy and they can hear you, and they end up getting mad and asking the waitress for a different spot in the restaurant, so on and so forth. Again, this theory was founded in the late 1970s and it continued through the 80s and 90s, but it is still seen in today's world very much. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.